I want Dan Fogelman to make television forever. These intertwining threads in episode 8 were so juicy. It is titled Man That Kept the Secrets, which is interesting because this episode dealt with a lot of characters who were keeping secrets. So we have had many episodes establishing different characters. We've also had episodes establishing the reasoning for why we got here. My favorite episode of this entire season, episode 7, which was like the actual event, the day, what happens. This was the episode that finally answered the questions, what went into building this world. We follow this project manager who I believe it's possibly the first day because everyone's talking about how they'll spend the money. So I'm under the assumption that maybe it's the first day or one of the early days of this project. We see all of these workers bonding with each other, having camaraderie, getting to know each other, invested, like especially the relationship between Adam and production manager guy. I forgot his name already. But it's almost like they're becoming best friends. He's coming out of his comfort zone to learn more about this man's West African heritage and all the things that he misses from home, and the fact that this guy's gonna send money back home, which like tears on my heartstrings as a Zimbabwean and a fellow African. Oh, and then the bookmark logo also makes another reappearance. So that, like, you know, in the episode where we learn about Kyle's relationship to his father, how the mom gave him this bookmark. The bookmark is also the logo that's on the iPad with all the information about the world. And it also happens to be the logo on a uniform. So cut to this episode, we finally see all these people in the construction uniform have that logo on them. So production manager guy discovers that there are biochemicals, so his fellow workers are getting sick. And then I said, oh no, don't tell me this is going to be about union busting. Oh, I remember the guy's name. I believe the guy's name is Trent. So Trent tells them about what happens. He is assured that they are going to stop production on the construction site. Raise your hand if you didn't believe that that was going to happen for a second. He comes to work the next day. His wristband isn't working. He's been laid off. He's been told to like, hush, hush, don't again. It reminds me of certain corporations that do things to their workers and their employees. The employer who made those people work in the factory or wherever it was during those storms in Asheville and then other parts of the South last year. A scenario like this happening is not far from the truth. It's not far from reality. So the guy's fired, this conspiracy murder board, and we find out, which I hadn't clocked, and I was like, whoa! We find out this is the same man that shot Xavier in the arm because he tried to assassinate the president. And he's like, they deserve to know. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I should have clocked this, that in that episode, there's something about the way in these Dan Fogelman shows, like people are framed that should be like a subliminal cue to be like, hey, remember that detail, or hey, remember this moment. And seeing that moment play again, I was like, of course. So remember last episode when I said Dr. Gabriella Torabi has to be the worst therapist possible on the planet and on the surviving whoever's left. She goes to Sinatra while Sinatra's like, we gotta shut this down, we gotta do this, and Gabby's like, hi, I'm here, I can help you, I think you're undone, this is going about the right way, let me help you, I can help you. And for the first time the entire season, Sinatra finally reveals her true colors to Gabby. Gabby's been fucking oblivious this entire time, and it's like, I'm not who you think I am. Even though so many people are telling you she's corrupt, she's like, no, I can't see, I have rose-colored glasses, or like, I'm not gonna follow that because I can't read. Like, ish. So she finally let her know. Jane gets the call from Sinatra, like, hey, if it comes to this, here's how it should go down. But, like, don't actually do it, but I'm just saying. And then meanwhile, Jay's like, yeah, I can do it. I can murder her. Mm-hmm. But can I have a wee? I started to laugh. And Sinatra's reaction to that, she's like, bitch, are you serious right now? I would like the Wii. I really enjoyed the Wii. I love playing Wii. Nintendo Wii is the best Nintendo Wii. Bish, are you for real right now? Jane's like, never mind. I'm never gonna bring it again. Bye. Jane! Jane is a fun character to play, but she pisses me the fuck off. Sinatra has house staff down in the bunker. Like, girl, the world is ending, and you still have the time to hold interviews with people who are going to take care of you when it's the apocalypse. Interesting priorities. I forgot to mention earlier that when we are introduced to Trent, my initial instinct was like, he's the murderer. He is the person that snuck in. He's the murderer. Oh, when he talked about Another Day in Paradise, he was hiding a CD. That was really cool to revisit that moment with the CD. I was like, whoa. Got to the library. There are 3 books with 812092. One of them literally says Sinatra. So you're like, it's that one. Oh my gosh, it's Sinatra. She's behind all the things. But it's not that book. That book is actually named what? The Man Who Kept the Secrets. And that's another reason why the title of this episode was so important, because that's the name of the book, where the secrets are hidden. The African slaves in this country who built buildings and spaces that they weren't allowed to enter. He says, we had a chance to start again. But then it ends up being the same old story down in this underground world. It makes me think about human nature. Like, is it our human nature? Is this why history tends to repeat itself? It also makes me think about, again, unionism as well, being part of a labor union and collective bargaining, because it's like a lot of money is put into these big corporations or these businesses, and the people who are making the most are the CEOs, while those who are actually putting in the most work, they might not hold the most risk. Sure, CEOs hold risk and investors and all of that, but the people actually putting in the work to make the product, to build the spaces, they're the ones struggling the most. They're the ones who are benefiting the least. Anyway, we see in the flashback Trent thinking he murdered the president while the president was on the balcony with the iPad. That's why the iPad fell. That's why Presley then finds the iPad. He like bashes in the president's head with a tool, which is probably from the construction site. I thought it was quite poetic that he had the tool that they used to get into this world is the tool that then kills the president, or at least he thinks he's killed the president. But what I thought was comical was that he bashes in the president, he's like in shock, and then turns around and he sees the drink that Robinson didn't drink and picks it up and decides to sit on the sofa and has a whole beverage. Trent realizes he's alive and then bashes him in again and then drags him. I was like, wow, no wonder this crime scene was so confusing for the Secret Service to figure out. All in all, Trent is a very sloppy murderer. The lady from the diner, we keep seeing her each and every time, and she was important because she snuck in with Trent and got this fake identity. And she was just like, the way she gave in was so funny to me. She's like, well, I'm caught. Trent just decides to fall, which is frightening because, like, he falls from such a height that it's just like, imagine you live in this neighborhood and you're just going about your day, and meanwhile, this man is just falling from the heavens. As Xavier said, he's probably dead on someone's roof. Sinatra tells Xavier that his daughter is dead because that's what she thinks. He's about to shoot her, but he's beat to the punch by Jane, who then comes in all heartless and and basically is like, long recovery ahead, thoughts and prayers. she's just like I'm not gonna kill, he was gonna shoot you in the head. You're useless to me if you're dead. This is why you should have given me the Wii, Nintendo Wii. Like, this freaking girl and the Nintendo Wii. Sinatra's down for now, but there will be somebody else to take her place. The universe abhors a vacuum. And I think at the end of the episode, I think we're led to believe that the vice president is probably going to step up in her place. And he's probably going to step up in a way that we haven't seen him before, which should be a very interesting character development and arc. Him as this weak man in this season, and then probably in the next season, he's gonna have an iron fist. When Robinson says, we need to know what's out there, he's giving you a gift. We all knew this is where it was headed, but this is about to be missions. This is about to be like Walking Dead level missions. See him say goodbye to his family, say goodbye to his fellow Secret Servicemen, and he heads to where it all began. And it was in this moment I finally realized why we kept seeing these planes. It was important to establish in episode 3 that Xavier's grandfather was a pilot, that Xavier's father was a pilot, before he got very sick and Xavier called him in and basically had him put on forced retirement. But Xavier himself, as told by Presley, used to be obsessed with flying. And so this is one of the best payoffs this season, because the reason why we kept seeing these planes was for the payoff that Xavier can fly a plane, and he's going to fly the plane out of this mountain in Colorado. And this is why the coordinates are important, because he will be able to read the coordinates to fly the plane to go out and search for his wife. We see the scene of the vice president in a room with all of these screaming billionaires and whoever else, the important people, the people with power. And it made me think about the fact that presidents are just figureheads and puppets to whoever holds the actual power. It made me think that a president is, or at least should be, liable and beholden to the people. Right? Or that's what we've just told ourselves. The people we elect end up being liable, beholden, and they actually answer to the people with money, because the people with money influence the elections. We see Jane playing Wii tennis. She's just like, my Wii. And again, I look forward to hearing more about her origin story next season, so I can find out why she is the way she is. Like, there's something childlike and maybe underdeveloped about her. Or I could just be projecting, and that could be a terrible thing to say. And if it is, I apologize in this moment. Season 2 is going to drive me nuts in the best way, in the best storytelling, screenwriting way, because we are going to get storylines about what's happening inside down the underground bunker world, and we're going to get storylines about what's happening outside up in the previous world. And these storylines are going to be messy and nerve-wracking, and I'm going to be screaming at my screen that I wish that people could just pick up their cell phone and then tell them the information that so-and-so has that this person needs because Cal chose the blue codes. Communication is going to be almost non-existent down there. It's going to be the Stone Age. It's going to be very primitive. I'm also wondering, how much food did he pack with him? How is he going to be able to test for clean water that he can drink? So many questions. Also, the last thing I noticed during the credits, which was super fun, was when Trent is dressed up as the security guard from the maximum prison that he was in. And again, that's also very devastating. We think of the recent LA fighters and how a lot of firefighters are incarcerated, or when these fires happens, it's least priority for people, for those who are incarcerated, to be evacuated. So all of these people in this prison break, aside from Trent, don't know that the world is ending. And they don't know that they're literally positioned near the mountain where the underground bunker world is. Anyway, once he takes the security guard's outfit, the camera zooms out from a name, and the name is S. Beers. That is a fun little inside joke Easter egg for the creative team at Paradise, because Steve Beers happens to be the executive producer of this show. So I thought that was very fun, and it made me think about how many Easter eggs are scattered amongst these episodes that I haven't caught yet. So I will see you all in 2026. Till then, it's just another day in paradise.